In this topic, we will start with some historical context, types, and applications of robots. First, we will see the historical context of robotics. Robots are not a very new idea. In fact, they started several years ago with the idea of a robot or a servant. For example, there are Chinese legends. Jiangxi, an artisan, presented a creature that looked and moved as a human. Jewish legends say that there was something called Golem, who was an artificial anthropomorphic being that was alive, something like a robot. There's also Greek mythology, which says that Hephaestus was the god of fire, metalworking, blacksmiths, sculptures, etc., and he built golden servants who helped people. More concretely, Aristotle said, if every tool, when given an order, could do the indicated work, there would be no need of apprentices or slaves. Also, Ctesibius of Alexandria designed water clocks with movable parts, which resemble a mechanism not too similar to a robot, but it's still a mechanism. In 1738, Jacques de Vaucanson built a mechanic duck and a flute player. It had a movable anatomy. Up to here, there are only mechanisms or automats. But it was Karel Čapek who started the word of robot. He used by the first time the word robot in a science fiction play called Rossum's Universal Robots in 1920. Here you can see one picture of the play and one picture of Čapek's robot. He used the word robota in Czech, which means forced laborer. In summary, humans create robots, then robots destroy humans. The word robotics was first used by Isaac Asimov. He was a writer of science fiction plays, and he used the word robotics. Some of his books are I, Robot, Robots and Empire, and many others. He also wrote the so-called robotics laws, which only exist in science fiction. The first law says that a robot might not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. The second law says that a robot must obey orders given by humans, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And the third law says that a robot must protect its own existence, as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or the second law. Again, these laws only exist right now in science fiction. For a history of robotics, you can take a look at this video, which summarizes this very nicely. The first industrial robot was developed by George Devol and Joseph Engelberger. They met in 1956 in a cocktail talking about Asimov's philosophies and ideas of robots, robotics, and so forth. They founded Unimation. And Unimation was the company that built the first industrial robot, which was called Unimate, and is the robot that you can see in the picture. Joseph Engelberger is considered as the father of robotics. Here is a video of Unimate, the first industrial robot and the first robot ever. You see that this is a manipulator. In fact, it has 6 degrees of freedom. It has a wrist. It can move the wrist. It is able to grasp things, very little things, but it mainly works in open loop. There's no really feedback here. So if something changes in the environment, then the robot will not be able to grasp the thing. You can take a look at the full videos at the link shown below. The first intelligent mobile robot is Shaky, which was developed at Stanford. In this case, this robot is mobile, it has wheels, and it has some sensors, such as a camera, which allow it to perceive the environment and act according to the perception of the environment. By the end of the 70s, there were 2 popular robots that were developed. First, the Puma, which is a robot that you can see in the picture, and it has 6 degrees of freedom and has been one of the standards in robotics for many years. Then there is the SCADA robot, which stands for Selective Compliant Articulated Robot Assembly. In the 80s, there was a fast growth of the robotics industry. The performance is further increased. There is feedback control and redesign of all the structure. Many universities also introduce robotics in their courses. Here you can see a video of Robots, a 50-year journey. This video was presented at ICRA 2000, and it summarizes the 50 years up to year 2000. You can see the link for more details. There is also a new video which was part of the Springer Handbook of Robotics in 2016, and is an extension of the previous video. You can also take a look at this video to see very interesting newer applications that now are used. But what will happen next? Well, nobody knows, but Bill Gates predicts that there will be a robot in every home.